Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As we start to come close to the end of this series, I know many people are probably wondering, how come I haven't talked about individuals with such extreme levels of special needs that they can't get married? How come I've completely avoided them? How come I didn't talk about them? How come I keep painting this picture about, it's easy to marry someone with special needs maybe, or trying to talk about people that can get married that have special needs? This is a very important subject. And I want to make it clear. I did that on purpose. It was deliberate. I'm not catering to everybody else out there. Everybody else always talks about what we can't do. And they point at the demographic that can't do it. They point at the people with such extreme levels of special needs that they can't get married because they're not able to fulfill the rights of marriage, everything that we've talked about. To be frank, it's a very difficult conversation to have. Who am I to say someone can't get married? It went through my mind the entire time as I'm doing this project, as we're working on this project. I never felt comfortable with it. I always felt, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can make anything happen. It's so difficult to talk about those families because it's a reality that everybody needs to face at some point. And I'm not going to let other people write the narrative. I'm not going to say, this is where we're going to start. As I mentioned before, we should talk about what we can do, not about what we can't do. That's why I waited to the end to talk about our brothers and sisters that unfortunately will never be able to get married because of the degree of their disability. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. But we need to understand that there's other ways to show companionship. There's other ways to show them love. I mean, the first identifiers for love for all families are parents and siblings, then friends and family, going back to the same list, and making them feel wanted in our communities, making them feel that they're special, making them feel that, they are people that deserve companionship and friendship. And maybe they might not be able to get married, but we can find a proper caregiver for them. We can make them a part of our lives. When we build a home, we make sure that there's a space for them. When we have events, we make sure there's space for them within our communities. It's a very tough subject. It wasn't until I spoke to mothers that have children with special needs where they would not be able to get married. They are the ones who told me. They're like, Omer, we already know that. It's not a secret for us. We know that our daughters and sons will not get married. They will not be able to fulfill the rights of marriage. We know that, nobody is going to be able to handle them in a marriage. And that was very difficult for me to hear, but it's the truth. We're not trying to sugarcoat anything. We're trying to have an open and honest discussion. And in order to be honest, we have to talk about everything. There are people out there that unfortunately will not get married. Their special needs are at such a degree that it's very difficult. But that being said, leading up to this point, I wanted to put the focus on individuals that have special needs and can get married. We didn't want to lead off with creating a negative vibe that, these people can't get married. No, there are people that have special needs and will be amazing spouses, amazing parents. They should be allowed that opportunity. And what happens is the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but we need to do what we can do. So with a very heavy heart, we talk about this subject. It's not easy for me personally, but I feel that it's important for us to, as a community, embrace these families. It's not easy. We are a creation of choice. We get to make choices. Angels are programmed to do what they're supposed to do. And animals are creatures of nafs. We are creatures of choice. We get to decide what we want to do, what we don't want to do. And most of us get to make those decisions. Not people with special needs. When you have special needs, a lot of choices are made for you. You are not able to do anything, and that's not by choice, it's because of circumstances. And it's not just people with special needs. There's a lot of people around the world that are going through hardship. But it's important for us to understand that we need to create a community feeling, a family, and understand that certain people are going through hardship that we will never be able to understand, and we don't need to understand it. We don't need to understand what someone's going through to help them. We just know that we need to help them. There are families that already know this, and we need to create support groups for them. We need to create areas where these parents and these siblings can open up their hearts and speak about this. It's not easy to know that once your child is born, that they'll never be able to live the life that a parent aspires for their children. They'll never be able to accomplish what their parents want them to accomplish. We have to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but we also have to do our part. So we ask everyone to not define the special needs community based on individuals that cannot do it, cannot be married. Look at what they can do versus what they can't. And if there are people that have been tested in such a manner where they don't have control and they're not even accountable by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to show them so much compassion, because as you heard so many times before from our Muslim family, these are people of Jannah and you want to be around them. Jazakallahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.